Now, Storm Watch 12 weather with meteorologist Josh Culbreath.
Welcome back to Newswatch 12 midday. Right now, you're taking a live look at Medford. Of course, this is courtesy of the People's Bank off the Biddle Road, and you're seeing some of those low-lying clouds covering up some of the foothills there, and that's because, of course, we have rain that is continuing to stream into the area. It looks like the dry layer is a little bit stronger than what we initially anticipated, so it doesn't really look like there's much rain making it down to the valley floor, at least right now. And it's a cold start to your day. 42 degrees right now in Medford. As we take a look at the radar, still a lot of rain being streamed in from the Pacific, but it's not nearly as heavy as it was yesterday. Maybe that's why the rain's having a little bit of a harder time cutting through that valley dry layer. But regardless of that, to the east of the Cascades, that's where we'll shift our focus now, because that's where winter weather impacts will still last at least until 10 p.m. That's what the National Weather Service in Medford thinks, as we have winter storm warnings in place above 3,000 feet for the Cascades, for the Siskiyous, and for the east side. This is not only for the snow that could accumulate, but also because of those gusty winds. Look, they could range up to anywhere from 45 up to 65 miles per hour, especially in the highest terrain up there towards Crater Lake. So we'll kind of set this all in motion with Stormcast. You'll see by the time we get to 5:30, it's still coming down pretty hard, and you see those little blips of yellow there on Stormcast. That represents where the model thinks some moderate to even potentially heavy rainfall could go down. And as that gets pulled up into the higher terrain, that could transition into some pretty heavy snow. But as we head into the mid to late evening hours, that's when everything starts to taper off just a little bit. We'll have some leftover showers. And then as we head into Wednesday, it looks like we could have some more high elevation snow up towards Chemolt and Crater Lake, but then our next system really doesn't impact us until Wednesday night. And what's important about this is that we're going to have warm air drawn in from the south, so that's going to raise our snow levels throughout the course of the day, as we'll have snow levels rising anywhere from, they're going to bounce around 4,000 to 5,000 feet today, but then they'll quickly skyrocket all the way up to 6,000 feet overnight, then going all the way up to 7,000 feet by the time we get into Wednesday. Some of the snow totals that we think could potentially pan out over the next 48 hours are as follows. We could have still multiple feet of snowfall on top of the really deep snowpack that already exists at Diamond Lake and at Lake of the Woods. More modest snowfall totals can be expected at Siskiyou Summit and at Black Butte Summit, as Siskiyou County is looking not very impressive when it comes to snow totals, but rain totals, western Siskiyou County is looking pretty impressive. The same thing with the coast and up for the Cascades, as we could have 2.5 to 3 inches of rainfall, and we actually have a flood watch in effect for the western Siskiyou, getting into Josephine, Jackson, and Jackson's excluded from that. Let's try that again. Western Siskiyou, Curry, and Josephine counties, as we could not only have heavy rainfall, but also snow melt that could contribute to excessive runoff. So for today, windy conditions, not nearly as windy as we were yesterday, but it'll be raining and snowing in some of those higher elevations, and we'll continue to be right around average. We'll be in the 40s and 30s in our west side valleys, 30s on the east side, and 50s there along the coast. And then for tonight, this is one of those rare occasions where the lows are going to be comparable to the highs. Again, it's because of that warm air getting streamed into here from the approaching storm system. So our temperatures are not only just going to hold steady, but they're actually going to increase overnight, and those winds will hold steady as well. So here's just kind of the bullet points. Snow levels rise today. We have more rain chances through Friday, but we clear out just in time for the weekend. That'll be a nice little treat. So here's your 7-day forecast. Windy along the coast, rainy and wet until we get to Saturday. That's when things finally back off. And it looks like we're going to have a bit of a dry stretch starting on Saturday, especially in some of our inland areas. But before then, we have several rounds of rain to go. And that storm system on Friday, it's starting to catch our attention a little bit more. Those snow levels are starting to look a little bit lower. The winds, they certainly look like they'll be howling. They're in the Klamath Basin. It looks like we'll have another event where we could definitely have some snow, maybe some blowing snow with some gusty winds, but then everything really calms down by the time you get into Saturday and Sunday. Easily the region that's going to be the most impacted over the next 4 days is going to be the Cascades, as we could have several rounds of snow. We're already seeing pretty bad travel impacts there. I think that'll continue at least until Saturday. That's when things really begin to taper off. And then in the Rogue Valley, just a cold rain until Saturday and Sunday, and that's when we clear out and maybe even see some sunshine.